you touched on this, but we have this farce of a, whatever you want to call it out there, called the pay-go. They passed it in February, which basically means that any bill that's passed must be either offset by spending cuts or revenue. This is what the Democrats call pay-go. Except they have this little thing called emergency spending in it. Not one bill since February has been fully funded. Not one. And they've not gone past their own rule because of pay-go, because they say emergency spending. But to them, everything is emergency spending. Would you be for withdrawing the emergency spending clause, the clause in that pay-go bill, and make sure everything is either offset by funding or spending cuts?
Absolutely, I certainly would be
in favor of that. In fact, Mark Schauer, I believe, today voted to extend unemployment for another, to extend now to 99 weeks. And he pledged that basically there was monies that now are further increase our deficits. And it wasn't available money. The Republicans sought to use available stimulus money to fund that unemployment. The Democrats were unwilling to do that. Mark Schauer this very day voted to increase spending and increase our debt. And so I absolutely would advocate for a pay-go that it doesn't have any possibility of compromise.
Weaseling way out. My words, fingers. Brian. Sorry.
Yeah, the pay-go, I'm all for it, other than for the emergency of military actions and circumstances. We have a constitutional duty to defend this country and our borders, and so you have to have that one provision for the DOD. However, has anybody noticed how Mark Schauer, who voted for stimulus, omnibus, cap and trade, and the health care bill, now all of a sudden become a populist? And he's against, the jobs we send to China, and he talks about how he voted against TARP. Well, that vote against TARP, and I know he's hoping that all of us are too foolish or too dunderhead to understand it, was only one house had to pass it in order for TARP monies to be spent that time around. The Senate already passed it, and so when the House took their vote was meaningless. So Mark Schauer gets to say, I voted against it, even though the TARP was already spent. He does that the same way, not just with what he did with unemployment, although he went against even the rhetoric this time, with the debt ceiling increase. You said the last couple times he voted to increase the debt ceiling, oh, I voted against it, but they had to get rid of the pay-go at the same time. And if you were really against it, you would say you have to do pay-go and the debt ceiling the same way, but he voted opposite, meaning that he voted with his party when it really mattered. So the guy is trying to pull the wool over all of our eyes, but we're not going to be fooled again. It's the old Who song.
So you're for taking away the emergency spending clause except for the Department of Defense?
Right.
Okay, thank you. Tim?
I would say ditto, but I won't keep that short.
That's all right. You guys were good last round.
I guess I want to continue to pile on Mark Schauer when we have the opportunity to do that.
He's going to hear it.
You know that you won't get talk over me.
I was going to put a little funny thing in. I was going to say he's going to hear it because we're being taped by him right now.
Because he has a cough button in his ear, so often.
No, I control the pot. I can talk you up and down. Or the pot, I mean.
It's fun to be conservatives together here. He sent you that amazing mailer that said, I, your representative, voted against $250 million of pork barrel spending that hurt taxpayers. You remember getting that on the card? And he listed those things that he voted against. Good things to vote against. Then why, when it came up for the final vote with all of those items still in the bill? Because they were Jeff Flake amendments, John Campbell amendments, would have been Tim Walberg amendments too. We put them up, we never get them passed. Pelosi wouldn't allow that to happen. Why then did he write a letter back? Well, guys, I tried. I voted against them on the amendment process, but then they were in the bill, and I needed to vote for the bill, so I voted for the bill. You didn't see that, did you? That's the type of stuff that goes on, and I agree, guys. This pay-go thing that came in on the Nancy Post was a farce from the beginning. And if you'll check my record, my record was voting against those bills that went over the pay-go policy, that weren't funded, and weren't funded appropriately, let alone having all sorts of programs.
Thank you.